I recently completed RuneScape's first ever bingo not league, and I just have to say one thing. I kind of suck at this game. I mean, maybe a large portion of my skill issue is that I'm brute forcing content I've never done before, but, well, let's just say my entire Gridmaster journey was filled with happy little accidents. I guess there's only one place to start, and that is at the beginning. After completing the tutorial and claiming my first relic, Power Miner, the first thing I decided to do was, of course, go and die in the Stronghold of Security. Yep, double 5s from a spider, all according to plan. That's okay, because my second time around, I got my 10k and already another relic, this time Fairy's Flight. And the plan for that 10k, of course, was to misclick and buy 50 air impacts, eliminating the entire cash stack. Very nice. The next part of my master plan was getting 40 mining here in Voldemort because only a psychopath would travel all the way out here, meaning I'd have no competition. Except, I guess, for these scorpions, which about killed me twice, but, you know, other than that, no competition. Moving along, mining this gold ore and drinking this free brew unlocked 2 more relics, Lumberjack and Bank Heist. Since the latter is a new relic, I'll briefly explain it in more detail. It allows you to teleport to any bank in the game. Very cool. Killing my beloved gemstone crab unlocks yet another reward, this time Gatherer, which lets you link 3 gathering skills together, and of course, as per the master plan, I fumbled this one so incredibly hard. I picked Thieving, Hunter, and Slayer. So close to being really good picks, but no, I basically threw any chance of completing this grid fast with this single mistake. And if you aren't familiar, the optimal pick would have been Thieving, Agility, and Slayer, and the reason for that is because on the grid there is a 92 Slayer requirement and a 92 agility requirement. And unlike 90% of everything else, the agility tile, which auto-completes all the diaries, gives you all the lamp rewards, which means without it, this tile for reaching 2000 total level is a lot harder than it needs to be. In my defense, the reason why I didn't pick agility, other than, you know, not reading the entire grid before committing like an idiot, is because by throwing a gnome ball, you unlock the Sage's Greaves, which on top of all of its other perks, gives you agility XP just for running around. In a league, this would have been good enough, if not actually kind of very nice, but not in a short-term rush the grid scenario. Yay, yippee, wahoo! Holy mout, 40k! Ah, how happy I sounded when I was still completely unaware of my huge agility mishap. Admittedly though, that 40k did come in clutch since I misclicked my entire stronghold stack, but next up on the agenda was something I was dreading, and that of course is to kill a lesser demon in the Wizard's Tower. But thank God, because Jagex actually, for once, the GOAT, added spawns all over the tower, because let's be honest, I really did not want to roleplay standing in line at the DMV. Oh, and the reward for that makes it so I can no longer hit less than 5 damage. Actually, very handy. Almost as handy as I am with an axe, because after a short while of AFKing some willow trees, I got to chop a maple log for our last Giga OP tool, alongside Animal Wrangler, which, to transition smoothly yet again, while this guy was wrangling the guard dogs, which is an animal by the way, I slipped in and stole from the fruit stall for yet another grid tile. This one unlocking Dodgy Deals, which of course is an absolute favorite relic of mine, since it makes all thieving pretty much AFK like wealthy citizens. Oh baby. I literally forgot that I thieved hand members for the grimy herbs, so like please pretend that I already did this and the transition you're about to hear worked really well, because I thought it was good at the time and then I realized I forgot an entire grid tile. So wealthy citizen indeed, because I also got to steal from those, getting a house key, and then stealing from one of the Varlamore houses, and that was, you guessed it, yet another grid tile. So I can now high alch for free. Yip, hooray. And as part of those free alchs, of course, alch an item over 30k for Production Prodigy. Next up on the agenda is absolutely demolishing Count Draenor, which is another grid tile, and now 7 times experience. And definitely by intention and not complete coincidence, I reached 500 total level and killed an ogress at the same time for another 2 bingo grid tiles. That's right. One of those rewards giving me a 25k XP lamp for later, and another giving combatant, which I decided to link magic, ranged, and strength together. as you can hear, very powerful with the automatic alching from the Golden God Relic. And speaking of our Golden God Relic, one of the side bonuses is that you can spend GP to an altar to get prayer experience, so I went ahead and knocked out 43 for the protection prayers. And now I was off to kill Bryo, but first I had to obtain a mossy key, which went about as you'd expect. Getting my kill yoinked by some random guy, giving up and running all the way to a random spot in Varla, surprisingly getting it mega spooned in 2 or 3 kills, and then it was time for the Bryo fight itself, where I proceeded to get immediately poisoned, and I couldn't kill it. So I'm gonna rain check the Bryo kill, but that's okay because I can at least get my cash stack going. So I kind of failed the condensed gold gamble 5 times and kept going broke. So I just decided to take what cash stack I did build up and buy a ton of cooking supplies. Now that I got that corrupted shark out of the way, I pretty much have infinite food and healing. So surely we can take on a couple of the bosses now, right? Okay, well I couldn't kill Scurrius because it kept out healing my damage, but Bryo went well, and the 2 rewards for that Bryo are very first combat mastery and 200% more XP multiplier. With our new combat mastery, I decided to take on Barrows and got incredibly spooned first chest. And the combat mastery also made Scurrius a cakewalk, which means we now have tier 2 combat masteries. We still have a couple of easy peasy tiles left to complete, so I went and did a solo Temperos kill for the craftsman reward, and this one, I don't think my picks were throwing, but definitely not optimal. I linked crafting, runecraft, and herblore together. My thought process was buying gems from the shop and having production prodigy. But yeah, I think like construction with banker's note would have been better maybe. I don't know. It's okay. Since my range was linked to magic, all the alching finally got me level 70 so I can wear the Carol's leather skirts. Or so I thought, because I actually forgot that you need 70 defense as well. So I will not in fact be getting that Barrows tile that easily. So what tile did I think was going to be easy and a great idea to brute force right now? Of course, 99 construction. Why not? This was done by first buying a house, using my XP lamp, which brought me from 1 to 58 construction, and then a combination of a gold sink, marble fireplaces, marble walls, magic thrones, and a lot of finger not feeling good. Also, in the background of this entire construction grind, I was completing farming contracts in order to get a fruit tree seed, which ended up being pineapples, and after planting 4 of them, all I have to do now is just wait and come back later. But to finish off the 99 construction grind, here is a demonic throne, and storing a skill cape on the cape rack, which unlocks the Thunder Kopesh and the Spiky Aura relic. A couple of quick detours. I farmed out Zamorak monk robes for later, bought an uncut onyx for an Amulet of Fury also later on because I don't have the level yet, and I went ahead and farmed a bunch of Scurrius spawns for lamps and got 70 defense, which means I could wear the Carol's leather skirt, complete the Barrows tile, and plus 200% more XP multiplier. If you thought things were finally going smoothly for me, well, here's a wrench in the plans. Since I had the Thunder Kopesh and infinite food, I thought it was a great idea to go ahead and send a fire cape. Let's just say it was not fun, and it was most definitely not very fast either. Maybe I want to get hit. A 1 hour and 13 minute Jad kill. Not my best work, I must admit, but that does autocomplete the entire Varlamore questline, and a quick jump scare from my dead pineapple plants, but that is also a fully grown fruit tree and the Farmer's Fortune relic. And a quick pit stop for the lunar chest, which by the way, you only need to kill 1 moon for that, but that unlocks yet another plus 200% XP multiplier. While I was trying to grind out the herblore requirement for the brew tile, there is 1500 total level, unlocking a juicy 100k XP lamp, which I decided to put into Thieving, which gives me a combined 2.6 million XP across Thieving, Slayer, and Hunter. But my main goal, of course, was the Zamorak Brew tile, which unlocks the Bottomless Brew relic, which means that from now on, every single potion in the game is infinite, except for like some of the raid ones, but infinite food and now infinite prayer, boosts, restores, etc. Funnily enough, I will say post-grid, I never made a Saradomin Brew to combo eat with my Shark, and that probably would have made the rest of this league a lot easier, but yeah, I am aware of that, but I wasn't aware of that until like after I was already done, so keep that in mind. While I was getting that herb lore level, I also got enough crafting to make an Amulet of Fury, which alongside being a massive upgrade from the Amulet of Strength I was rocking, also completes the entire Desert Treasure 2 questline. We're still quite a ways away from killing those bosses, but they're very, very important for later. And of course, since brute forcing content seemed to work so well thus far, I decided at this point I could totally take down a Lizardman Shaman, which surprisingly wasn't that hard at all. And that tile auto-completes Song of the Elves, which means of course I can already do the Gauntlet. Actually not, because with my low stats and all of my power coming from items, the Gauntlet is actually kind of above my pay grade right now. That's okay though, the train keeps rolling. I got a quick +2 boost so to catch a Moth barehanded, which auto-completes Dragon Slayer 2, so now we can just go take down Vorkath. I don't have Crumble Undead, or Anti-Fire, for that matter, or Anti-Venom, actually. I'm either brute forcing this or I'm dead. I killed it! Fuck you! Okay, so it ended up being a 12-minute kill, and you do need to get a unique drop for the Gridmaster tile, so this ain't it either. Don't worry, I have a solid plan B though. By brute forcing the Calphite Queen, we can unlock the Drygore Blowpipe, and then go through an insanely scuffed journey for darts. Give me darts. Dart. Then, this is very, very important, detour for an hour of farming an herb lore in order to get some potions for absolutely no real reason, which, by the way, I got not 1, not 2, but 3 isn't even it either. I actually got 4 drops of 3 bottomless compost buckets. What am I even supposed to do with these? Okay, now after all of that detouring, Vorkath should be easily killable. Okay, so it's still a 7-minute kill, which is not great, but hey, at least I got Dragon Darted, so another quick detour. During this detour, I got called a nerd gamer, but little does he know, I'm getting 8 bajillion fletching XP per hour. And now that I have Dragon Darts, it is time to kill Vorkath for real. Okay, I lied. The kill was pretty fast, but the thought of potentially having to get 50 KC for a unique, yeah, I decided it was a better idea to go quickly kill an Inferno Major. Let me in. I'm dead. Will my pillar survive? Find out in the next episode. Now that we have a 3rd tier of combat relics, our blowpipe attacks even faster, and a 60-second or less Vorkath kill is a lot more like it. And not only did I get a Vorkath head and 10 kill count, but this kill also dropped magic logs, which is incredibly useful for another task coming up. Also, I did forget to grab the Slayer Master Relic from that Inferno Major, but it doesn't do much for now without a Slayer Helm, and let's just say it'll have its own arc later on in the video. What I get for killing Vorkath and completing that row, however, is the Grimoire Relic, which means easy spellbook swapping and high tier prayers like Piety, Augury, and Rigor for free, and the row completion is yet another tier of combat mastery. Here's where those magic logs come into play, fully decorating a totem in the Auburn Valley, which of course unlocks the Devil's Element offhand, a very interesting item, but unfortunately I don't think you'll ever see it again because most of the time I'm meleeing or using two-handed ranged. Speaking of ranged, of course I went and got my Ava's Assembler with that Vorkath head, so now I'm saving 99.9% of arrows and darts. Of course, now that I'm super strong with all these combat masteries, the Corrupted Gauntlet is a breeze, which unlocks Banker's Note and the 5th tier of combat mastery. Since at this point my prayer was lacking behind a little bit, I decided to get 77 for all the boosting prayers, which honestly went by a lot quicker than I thought. You need to tell me I could have spam clicked this the whole time. And now is time for my favorite boss in the entire game, the Huequatl. As a Huey expert, I can tell you that in Gridmaster, there is approximately a 1 in 2.25 chance to get a unique, of course in a solo that is. So I blasted it down easy peasy and got a Tome of Earth, which is another tile knocked off the list. And this one auto-completes while Gothic sleeps, which means absolutely nothing to me itself, but that also completes the Troll Stronghold prerequisite, which means God Wars Dungeon is now free and open for exploiting. You know what I'm realizing? I'm gonna go into the God Wars dungeon. I have no God-aligned items at all. My cheeks are going to get clamped. I'm pretty sure you need a rope to go down here, don't you? Bro. That's 1 in 5,000 Joker Champion Scroll is not boosted in Gridmaster, so yeah, I'm a little saddened by that, I'm not gonna lie. And a cheeky 5 kill count Bandos chestplate means that we now have all 6 tiers of combat masteries. For those unaware, that means from now on, ranged is broken. And I'm still pretty sad about that because melee and mage, outside of a few outliers, feel like complete shit now. Oh, and that also unlocked the Total Recall relic, which I will use later on for some really fun shenanigans. At this point, I must have really been feeling powerful because I decided why not to go try the Coliseum. Okay, so yeah, that didn't work out so well, and I gave up really fast, but that's because everything that's happened in the video thus far was my day 1. And by the way, I think around this time, the first Gridmaster completions had actually happened like 5 hours ago. I didn't know that at the time because the leaderboards weren't working, but I wasn't even close. Anyways, sleep time. After being fed some insider information directly from the 2007 Scape subreddit, I learned of a couple things. Firstly, after Dragon Slayer 2 auto-completion, you can claim free experience from this lady in the Myths Guild, which with my multiplier at this point was a completely missed 1.3 million experience that could have really helped on defense earlier on. And secondly, for whatever reason, the Thread of Elidinus counts as a unique for the Gridmaster tile and is a very reasonable 1 in 1.25 chance from a raid level 0. While that alone is pretty insane, I also found out at this point by claiming that Twisted Bow from the grid tile, you also get given a free 4,000 dragon arrows. So you mean to tell me not only do I get the best in slot range weapon, I also get best in slot ammunition, and I already can't miss with range attacks due to the combat masteries? Now we're just cracked for free. So of course the very first thing I did with my newly acquired Twisted Bow was to not use it and instead kill Zora with a blowpipe because I kind of forgot that was even a tile. The reward for this one is auto-completion of Monkey Madness 2, and I can confidently say that this one does not have an XP reward hidden somewhere. Now, Twisted Bow time for real. The Coliseum should be easy for sure, right? Yeah, I still kind of sucked at that, so I decided the next best thing instead was to do Yama completely blind. Why? Alright, I've learned nothing. But I have food, so YOLO. I'm alive, but I don't know how. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand what's happening. But I killed the boss. What am I fucking doing? Oh, there we go. Honestly, with all the buffs I have, it wasn't that bad at all, and the reward for all that was the Last Stand relic, which basically means we now have a cheat death. Surely this time with a second life and a Twisted Bow, the Coliseum is going to be easy peasy. Surely I wouldn't fail a generational 5 unique Coliseum run. What? How in the fuck? How do I solve this? Oh shit, like where's the good ones? I mean, I'll take the defense and I guess I'll just die. Sure. Okay, so at this point, I think the problem I have is apparent. For whatever reason, I think it's funnier to not learn anything before completely winging it and failing miserably. And I can promise you, that mentality only gets worse from here. For the next little while, I was getting my Slayer up and doing tasks like an idiot in an attempt to get an Araxor task. You remember this reward from the Inferno Major? All mobs count as being on a Slayer task. Yeah, so you don't actually need to get an Araxor task to kill it at all, but I didn't know that. While I was at it though, I did get my hands on a Slayer helm, extremely dry by the way, which is cool, although there isn't an easy way to imbue it for the range/mage bonus, so it's kind of just a melee item at this point. And during this detour, I also thought it was a good idea to try Vardorvis, which was fine. I got the Ring of Shadows and the Stranglewood teleport, which is helpful, and then I accidentally used the One Awakener's orb I got, which went about as well as you'd expect. Okay. And I also tried a few more Awakened Vardorvis for good measure. Yeah, so Vardorvis hits kind of hard when you make a mistake. I did eventually learn that the Outer Wall of Tentacles is bad in the Awakened version, so that's something. And at this point I decided maybe the Colosseum wasn't so bad after all. And after a very scuffed Soul Heritage fight, that unlocks the Specialist Relic, which is an insane buff to the Thunder Khopesh, and of course the Emperor's Ring, which is an insane stat boost. Okay, so now, surely, the Awakened Vardorvis, yeah, no, not yet. It was around this time that I finally connected the dots and realized I don't need that Araxor task in order to kill it. And sure enough, 15 kills later, I got the rare drop, and that unlocks the final XP multiplier of this event, and the Sunlight Spear/Bracers. The spear is not very useful this time around, but the bracers double all healing, so combined with the combat passives, our Corrupted Shark now heals 44 health at a time. We're running out of tiles to complete, but now it's time for yet another boss I haven't got to kill yet, the Doom of Mojito. I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't really learn anything about this boss at all. I never bought Demon Bane, so I tanked every big shield, laser, whatever you call it, hits, and a Twisted Bow that never misses is just free real estate. But that tile unlocks the Vernic Treads, which are best in slot Tribe boots, the one downside being I now have to swap between my Sage's Greaves. Speaking of swapping, I decided now was the perfect time to take down the other two raids, starting out with Cock. After 3 very scuffed solo chambers without a unique, it wasn't very fun, and I decided I'll do the Theater of Blood first, get a shadow, and then I'll use that to speed up my time. And after my first try, I got an Vernic Hilt. With that, I unlocked my Tumikin Shadow, and I also got the Savior Relic from the row completion, which means I no longer need runes or charges for magic. Very nice to have. And that detour probably didn't even matter, because on the chamber kill right after, I got my Twisted Buckler, meaning I now have all 3 Mega Rares. But more importantly than that, the row reward exposure gives special attacks a 50% chance to deal 50% more damage. What can I say? The Thunder Khopesh just keeps winning. Speaking of winning, I took all my newfound buffs and gear to Vardorvis, and after another failure, I managed to take down the Awakened version. And I don't know where the recording went, but I swear I did it. And if you're wondering, the Khopesh is a very easy 6-second kill on regular mode Vardorvis, so that's what I did every time I need another orb. Next up on the Awakened boss list was Duke Succulus, which despite not having a clue about any of the special mechanics, I kind of just brute forced it first try, easy peasy, so I learned absolutely nothing. Awakened Leviathan on the other hand, not so great. But that's okay, I have other tiles I could probably do, the main one being somehow reaching 2k total. I started off by attempting to solo Guardians of the Rift in an attempt to get a Blood Altar, after which I learned that you can't even do real rune crafting through the minigame like that. Thankfully though, as it would turn out, the Abyss does have a portal straight there, and this was insane XP for my linked skills while I had the Pure Essence from that Chambers run. Then I had the Mega Brain strat to set a total recall right in front of the Gemstone Crab, which meant infinite specs and combat XP galore. The spec method was so effective that I decided why not do that elsewhere. So I went to Venenatis and along the way managed to get a Voidwaker piece, and just because I was curious I farmed out the other 2 pieces using that exact same method. As it would turn out, the Voidwaker spec is nowhere near as good as the Khopesh, but I mean at least now I know. Anyways, my real Mega Brain strat was to farm out a Web Weaver bow so I'd have a range spec weapon, which should hopefully make that Awakened Leviathan fight even easier. I will say, despite the boosted drop rates, the chance of getting this was not ideal, but after a quick 1-hour detour I managed to get it. Obviously, it's not as insane as the Thunder Kopesh, but with both of these special attack relics, just look at that damage. And after a little bit more struggling for XP, that is 2k total level, our free Zughelm, cool looking Avernic Defender, which I did grind out a Dragon one just to make that for the hell of it, and the free Agility Lamps to bring me slightly closer to that level 92 requirement. At this point, I also figured that I've been putting off doing the Inferno speedrun long enough, so I died to Zuck slower than the speedrun time and immediately went back to farming orbs for the awakened bosses. Along the way, I got a Virtus Robe Bottom, so I'm no longer rocking full Mystic, which is kinda cool, I guess. And now for the awakened Leviathan, which went about as you'd expect, very easily. Because as it turns out, I didn't even bring the orb for this one, and this was actually the regular version. But now, for real, the awakened Leviathan. I about failed. Holy fuck. What I learned from that is that you basically want to just stun it before it ramps up its attack speed, and once I did that, the fight was honestly pretty easy. But that is 3 out of 4 awakened bosses complete. Now about that Inferno speedrun, how about this time we have some really good pacing, and I'm dead again. Okay, so yeah, 3rd time's the charm, actually with 4 minutes to spare on this one, but yeah, I actually now have a melee cape, my own little minion due to the Guardian Relic, and the insanely overpowered best in slot Tribrid Amulet of the Monarchs. We're now down to the final 2 bingo tiles. Complete a floor 5 Sepulcher and the Awakened Whisperer. The Whisperer fight, of course, is the hardest of the four due to the fact you can't really cheese it. I mean, technically you can dodge projectiles to reset last stand in between its phases. Here's how that went. Immediately died to double 58 melee range because I'm an idiot. Spent 3 minutes dodging attacks. Repeat. And then eventually I made a mistake and died for real after I spent the past 20 minutes fighting for my life. But wait a minute, why am I not using the twisted bow? So yeah, once again, the twisted bow combined with, you know, not being able to miss is actually way better than the shadow against this boss. So once again, we have to pull a third times the charm, and here's how the Awakened Whisper fight went. done, right? With all 4 awakened bosses now being defeated, we have our hands on the Battle Hat and the Dog Sword. The Battle Hat is completely unique to this event and is incredibly sick. The visual combination of a Berserker helm and a party hat, but just like the ring and amulet relics, a best in slot for all 3 styles, and it comes with the full effects of a Slayer helm. The Dog Sword, on the other hand, honestly really disappointing as a row reward, because it's incredibly weak in comparison to the Khopesh, and if that wasn't bad enough, it's also two-handed. So yeah, that kind of felt pretty bad. And so begins the final arc and our grind for 92 agility. The master plan is to do underwater agility, an incredibly garbage activity normally, but very fast due to the dodgy deals thieving relic. There's just one problem. This was very bad last league without flippers, and it still is. So a quick detour, we have to do the Mogres mini quest and farm out a pair of flippers. After a lot more kills than it should have, now we can go back to the water. Oh wait, idea. Free Varrock Museum experience lamps. In total 120,000 agility experience. Not too bad, but I still have a lot of swimming to do. Which, just to save you from having to watch me slowly go insane, here's the fat XP drop at the end. Just kidding, I actually miscounted twice, but yeah. This time for real, that's level 92 agility. Now, for whatever reason, the actual hardest thing I did in this entire event was not the Colosseum, not the Inferno, not the 4 awakened bosses, or technically 3 out of 4 because 1 was super easy, but it was in fact completing a floor 5 Hallowed Sepulcher. And I think honestly, if you ever feel like you want to hate yourself, you should try and do Sepulcher completely blind. The problem here is that there is absolutely no getting around having to click good. The saving grace here is that you do not actually need to meet the time limit for floor 5, which for me, that was a very good thing. I cut out the worst parts, but I do want to apologize for any less than nice words that I may have said at the time against the developers on this nice, fancy, fun, extremely good piece of content. Anyways, after a very rough 40.5 hours, I completed the Gridmaster and ended up rank 4,492. All things considered, that's actually a lot better than I expected. Oh, you're still here? Okay, so welcome to the extra credit section of Gridmaster. I was thinking about maxing my account for the hell of it, partially due to these achievement diary rewards already knocking out 99 agility for free. And then I did hunter, fletching, farming, runecrafting, herb lore, smithing, woodcutting, fire making, prayer. I think you get the idea. I pretty much almost maxed the account, but I decided that I don't really care enough to keep AFKing the grid. I also had plans for funny combat stuff like grinding a Zerite crossbow. I farmed out Confliction Gauntlets and an Eye of Ayak since it's bugged and 1-tick attack speed. I was gonna one-shot Zor for the meme with that, but it never ended up hitting it. I also wanted to grind out the cool Radiant Oath Plate, but as it turns out, you require a duo partner to even get regular drops, so while I did spend several hours grinding Yama, completed all the hard contracts, I never actually finished grinding the mats to make Aether Runes. So that means this armor has been in lie this entire video. But I still had a ton of fun playing Bingo Not League, and my takeaway is this. I am not very good at the game, but with enough brute forcing and especially the Last Stand relic, I can take down anything this game has to offer. Will I one day get good enough at RuneScape that I don't need these crutches? Teehee, I'll never tell. Thanks for watching this video, and as always, a huge thank you to the channel members. I was hoping to have this video finished a lot sooner than this, but that's okay. Within the next week-ish is the start of the hardcore group Iron Man series, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be an absolute banger. And with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm outta here.